The outer colony called New Aurora was a quiet and growing world, built by humans who dreamed of peaceful life far from the crowded cities of Earth. It had oceans like shining glass, forests that moved gently with purple leaves, and towns filled with families, students, workers, and explorers. For many years, New Aurora believed it was safe. It believed the galaxy had finally accepted humanity as a rising power. But that belief turned into ash in a single night. A young communication officer named Lena Reyes stood in the colony's main tower. She had just finished her late duty and was preparing to go home. She stretched her arms, looked out at the calm sky, and smiled. She never imagined that this peaceful sky would become the doorway to death. As she reached for her jacket, an alarm suddenly exploded inside the room. The red lights flashed all around her, and a shaking voice came from the speakers. Unidentified objects entering the atmosphere. Lena froze, her heartbeat became heavy. She rushed back to the control panel and pressed the main screen. At first, she saw nothing but static. Then, shapes began to appear, dark shadows, dozens of them, breaking through the clouds. Her hands trembled. She zoomed in on the shapes, and her eyes widened with fear. Warships, she whispered, alien warships. Before she could send a full report, the sky outside turned bright white. One of the alien ships released a massive bomb. The explosion hit the northern valley, shaking the entire colony. The ground cracked, buildings collapsed, people screamed, and the peaceful world turned into chaos. Lena grabbed the emergency transmitter and shouted into it, "New Aurora under heavy attack, enemy forces landing on surface, repeat, enemy forces have invaded." Her voice broke as another explosion tore through the air. The shockwave slammed against the tower, making the walls crack. Lena held the microphone tightly, her eyes full of tears. "Please, if anyone hears this, warn Earth, they are not raiders, they are here to destroy everything." But she never finished her message. A second bomb hit the tower's base, the floor ripped apart, and the control room collapsed. Her final signal, a short broken message filled with static, escaped into space. "They are everywhere." Then silence covered New Aurora like a dark blanket. On Earth, thousands of light-years away, the message reached the Defense Command Center. Inside the main hall, generals, officers, and analysts gathered around the screen. The footage appeared grainy and full of static, but the destruction was clear. Flames rose from the colony, alien ships circled like vultures, and Lena's broken voice echoed across the room. The hall went completely silent. No one blinked, no one breathed. General Marcus Hale, the head of Earth Defense, stood still as stone. His face turned pale. "This is not a warning," he said in a cold voice. "This is a declaration of war." More distress signals appeared on other screens. Colony after colony went offline. Messages from outer settlements were filled with screams, explosions, and hopeless calls for help. Every second, another human world died. But Earth had a secret, something hidden for years under the deepest military levels, something created only for the darkest moment in human history. That secret was Project Titan. Inside a massive underground hangar, 6 giant metal machines rested in shadows. Each one was taller than skyscrapers, with armor stronger than any known material and weapons powerful enough to cut enemy fleets in half. They were called Titans, humanity's last line of defense. Their existence was known only to a few. For years, they slept quietly, waiting for the day they would be needed. That day had finally arrived. A loud alarm echoed inside the hangar. Red lights burst into life. Engineers and officers ran across the floor, updating power systems, loading ammunition, and activating neural link units. One by one, the Titan eyes opened, glowing like burning suns. Their giant frames shook as their power cores awakened for the first time in years. Commander Rylan Ward, the lead Titan pilot, entered the hangar at full speed. He was a man known for silence, discipline, and unmatched courage, a man who never showed emotion, not even in the face of death. But when he saw the destruction on the screen, his jaw tightened. Lena Reyes had been his childhood friend. The pain in his heart was quiet but deep. He walked toward Titan 01, the strongest of all, also known as Goliath. Its heavy metal frame towered above him like a steel mountain. As he stepped into the pilot chamber, the neural link connected instantly. Goliath's systems lit up. Recognizing its pilot, Rylan whispered, "You killed our people, now we will show you why humanity survives." A final alert echoed across Earth Defense. "Titan units, deploy immediately." The hangar floor opened, and giant magnetic rails began to power up. the ground shook as Titans moved toward launch positions, their shadows spread across the walls like ancient warriors rising again, the entire base trembled with their weight. And then, with a blinding flash, the Titans were launched into space, straight toward the alien fleet that had dared to attack Earth's children, straight toward the war humanity never wanted, but was now forced to finish. The fire that started the war now burned inside every human heart, and the giants of humanity had finally awakened. The launch tunnels shook as the Titans shot through them, each machine moved like a falling star, leaving trails of light behind. The magnetic rails fired them into open space with a speed that felt impossible for something so massive. As soon as they cleared Earth's atmosphere, their armor expanded, their weapons unfolded, and their systems fully awakened. Commander Rylan Ward opened his eyes inside Titan 01, Goliath. His neural link allowed him to see everything through the machine's vision. Stars stretched across the dark canvas of space, but the peace of the galaxy felt cold now. Rylan could hear faint echoes of Lena's last transmission in his memory. It fueled his anger, sharpened his focus, and made him ready for what was coming. Around him, 5 other Titans emerged from the launch tunnels. Each one had a unique form and purpose. Titan 02, Helios, shined with bright gold armor, built for long-range energy combat. Titan 03, Ravager, was small but fast, equipped with magnetic blades. Titan 04, Leviathan, carried massive shields that could protect entire human fleets. Titan 05, Spectre, had stealth technology that could hide a whole warship, and Titan 06, Tempest, was covered in turbine thrusters, made for close range battles with unbelievable speed. Together, they were humanity's giants, powerful enough to shake the galaxy, and terrifying enough to make enemies run. But this day, they were not here to scare anyone, they were here to avenge the innocent lives lost on New Aurora and other destroyed colonies. The Titan formation moved forward, scanning the space around them. Their sensors picked up debris from destroyed human ships, broken satellites, and burnt colony transports floating slowly through the void. A deep silence filled the space between stars. It was the silence of death, the silence left behind by the alien attack. Rylan's voice came through the communication network, steady and cold. Focus on the mission, the enemy fleet is ahead, they won't expect us. Inside Titan 03, pilot Mara Jean tightened her grip on her controls. They attack civilians, children, families. We're ending this today. Titan 04's pilot, Captain Jonas Hale, replied, stay sharp, their technology looks advanced, this won't be simple. But before they could speak further, the sensors lit up, dozens of red dots appeared on their displays, moving fast across the sector. Enemy scout ships. They flew like insects, spreading out to search for new targets. They didn't notice the Titans. Not yet. Rylan gave the order, hold position. The Titans remained completely still, drifting in the darkness, their armor blended with the shadows of space. The enemy scouts moved closer, scanning the area. They had no idea what was waiting for them. Then Rylan whispered, engage. In one blinding moment, Titan 02 fired a beam of pure energy. The blast sliced through 5 scout ships instantly. The explosion lit the darkness with brilliant blue flames. Titan 03 shot forward like a comet, its magnetic blades cutting through the enemy ships with clean, deadly precision. Titan 05 appeared behind another group, uncloaking silently before firing invisible darts that pierced their engines. Within seconds, the scout fleet was destroyed. Not a single alien ship escaped to warn the others. Rylan's voice echoed calmly, good, now they know nothing, now we strike first. The Titans continued deeper into enemy-held space. Their radar detected a massive structure ahead. It was a dark, floating station, almost like a fortress, surrounded by dozens of alien battleships. The enemy fleet glowed with strange green lights, their hulls shaped like sharp, curved bones. They moved in perfect formations, ready to attack any human ship that entered the sector. But today, something far more dangerous had arrived. Rylan's heart beat harder. He could see the enemy fleet clearly now. The station was the same one that had launched the planet break bombs at New Aurora. He felt a cold anger rising inside him. We destroy that station, he said. We make them regret everything. The other pilots agreed in silence. Their Titans spread out, preparing for the largest battle humanity had ever faced in space. As they moved into position, Rylan noticed something strange on his sensors, a shape, larger than anything they had encountered before, a shadow moving behind the enemy fleet. He zoomed in. And then he saw it. A colossal alien flagship, bigger than mountains, covered in living armor that pulsed like a heartbeat. Its eyes glowed red, like a creature watching its prey. Even Goliath felt small compared to this monster. Rylan's breath grew heavy. "That is a planet killer," he muttered. The alien flagship opened its giant wings, releasing a wave of energy signals. The entire enemy fleet began moving, preparing to fight. The dark space lit up with crimson lights. The Titans stood alone against thousands. Rylan closed his eyes for a second, letting the rage in his heart harden into strength. Then he opened them again and said with a calm voice, "All Titans, attack." And with that single command, humanity's giants charged forward, ready to shake the galaxy and show the aliens what true human fury looked like. The moment Rylan gave the order to attack, the Titans surged forward like unstoppable metal storms. Their engines burned bright, their heavy armor cut through space, and their massive weapons prepared to release destruction unlike anything the aliens had ever seen. The enemy fleet responded immediately. Thousands of alien fighters streamed out of the giant flagship, spreading like a swarm of angry insects across the stars. Rylan pushed Goliath into full speed. The giant Titan tore through space, leaving a trail of fire behind. Alien fighters shot plasma bolts at him, but Goliath's armor absorbed the hits with barely a scratch. Inside the neural chamber, Rylan felt every impact through the machine's sensors. It felt like being punched in the chest, but he held steady. "Stay in formation," he commanded. "Target their forward line." Titan 02 Helios moved to the front. Its core glowed with golden heat, and then a long beam of energy erupted from its chest cannon. The beam sliced through dozens of alien ships in a single sweep, turning them into burning fragments that scattered across the void. Titan 03 Ravager darted between the debris, moving so fast it was almost invisible. Mara slashed two alien cruisers apart with her magnetic blades, sparks exploding across her Titan's armor. Leviathan, the heavy shield unit, raised its enormous front barrier as enemy fire rained down. Jonas gritted his teeth, pushing the Titan's shield generator to full power. The alien energy blasts crashed against Leviathan like crashing waves, but the shield held strong. "Keep firing," Jonas shouted. "I can block them for another 30 seconds. Spectre and Tempest flanked the enemy cruisers, attacking from angles the aliens didn't expect. Spectre cloaked mid-battle, reappearing behind enemy carriers before firing antimatter spikes into their engines. Huge explosions shook the field. Tempest moved like a lightning strike, its thrusters glowing white as it rammed through an enemy destroyer, splitting it in half with a sonic boom. But the alien flagship was watching. The red eyes on its armor blinked, glowing more intensely. It opened its gigant maw and released thousands of metallic drones that looked like living knives. They swarmed the Titans, attaching themselves like parasites, drilling into armor and releasing toxic green energy. Rylan felt Goliath shake under the sudden attack. Warning signals filled his vision. "Get these things off me," he growled, swinging Goliath's arm to crush a cluster of drones. Titan 03 sliced through more drones, protecting Goliath's flank. "They're everywhere," Mara shouted. "If we don't clear them, they'll drain our power cores." Helios unleashed a blinding pulse wave of heat, burning many of the drones off. Leviathan pushed forward, smashing dozens of them with its heavy shield. The Titans fought not just ships, but living weapons that clung to them like hungry beasts. The battle turned chaotic, but humanity refused to pull back. They had lost enough, they would not lose more. Rylan's voice cut through the comms, sharp and steady. "Focus on the station behind their fleet. It's responsible for the colony attacks." Everyone followed his gaze. Far behind the enemy lines stood the dark alien station, its enormous cannons glowing as it gathered energy for another shot, a planet break bomb, just like the one that killed New Aurora. Rylan's heartbeat grew louder. He could still see Lena's last words in his mind, still hear her voice breaking in fear. He refused to let another colony die. "Titans, break through," he commanded. "We're going for that station." The Titans tightened formation, pushing forward with renewed fury. The alien fleet tried to block them, sending out larger battleships with sharp, blade-like hulls. Each one moved like a predator ready to strike. A massive cruiser fired a beam directly at Titan 04. Leviathan braced, but the blast was too strong. It pushed the Titan backward, its shield cracking with glowing lines. "Jonas," Rylan shouted, "fall back." "I'm fine," Jonas replied, even though his voice shook with pain. "Just go, end that station." Goliath surged ahead, breaking through the front line. Enemy ships crashed into its legs and arms, but Rylan smashed them aside with devastating punches. Every hit echoed through space, like thunder without sound. Behind him, the other Titans carved an open path. Finally, they reached the station. It was an enormous dark fortress, its walls covered in glowing runes, its cannons aimed at another human colony light years away. Rylan felt anger grab his heart. "Not again," he whispered, "this ends now." Goliath raised its arm cannon and fired. The blast shook the entire station, snapping its outer shields. Helios followed with a golden beam that cut deep into its core. Ravager slashed through the station's support wings, sending huge fragments drifting away. Tempest and Spectre planted explosive charges along its surface. The alien station panicked, green warning lights flickering across its walls. Its cannons tried to rotate toward the Titans, but they were too late. Rylan pushed Goliath's core to maximum power. "For New Aurora," he said softly. The Titans unleashed their combined firepower. The station couldn't resist. A massive explosion erupted from inside, bursting outward in a wave of fire and energy. The shockwave lit the entire battlefield. The alien fleet staggered, shaking from the destruction of their main weapon. As the flames faded, Rylan saw something horrifying beneath the exploding debris. A row of containers drifting from the station, some broken open, some cracked. Inside them were humans, captured, weak, used for experiments. Rylan's vision blurred with rage. "This war isn't just survival," he whispered, "it's justice." And humanity's giants prepared for their next move, with anger burning deeper than ever. The destruction of the alien station sent shockwaves across the battlefield. The remaining enemy ships scattered in confusion, their formations broken, their command signals disrupted. The Titans did not pause, they pressed forward, cutting down every hostile vessel that tried to regroup. But Rylan knew this victory was only a small step. The true enemy waited far beyond this ruined sector, on the alien homeworld that commanded the attacks on Earth's colonies. A communication channel opened across Titan Command. General Marcus Hale's voice arrived, deep and sharp. "Titans, we have confirmed the location of the alien throne world. Their queen controls their war machine from there. Destroy her command structure, and the war collapses." Rylan nodded slowly, even though no one could see it. "Understood," he replied in a cold voice. "Set the course." The Titans turned toward the deep end of the galaxy. Their engines roared to life, glowing brighter than stars. The human fleet followed behind them, but it was clear that the Titans would lead the next assault, for no ordinary ships could survive the storm they were heading into. As they traveled through hyperspace, each pilot sat quietly inside their Titan. The silence was heavy, filled with thoughts, anger, memories, and determination. Rylan closed his eyes. Lena's face appeared again in his mind, smiling the way she used to when they were children. He gripped the Titan's controls tighter. "This is for you," he whispered. "We will end their cruelty." When the Titans exited hyperspace, the pilots fell silent. The alien throne world filled the void before them. It was enormous, almost the size of a gas giant. Its surface was covered in glowing green rivers and towering dark spires that pulsed like veins. All around it floated shapes that looked like living monsters made of metal and bone, a mix of technology and creature stretched together in terrifying forms. Titan 04 Leviathan's pilot, Jonas, whispered, "This place. It feels alive." Mara from Titan 03 answered, "Good, then it can feel pain." Before they could move closer, the space around the planet burst open with green fire. Hundreds of alien warships emerged, forming a defensive wall, their weapons charged with furious energy. They blocked every possible entry point, like a massive gate that refused to open. Rylan's voice came through, calm yet sharp, "We break the gate." The Titans charged. Once again, they met the enemy with overwhelming force. Laser fire, plasma bolts, and dark energy beams shot toward them from every direction. Leviathan raised its great shield, absorbing the first wave of attacks. Spectre vanished from sight, reappearing behind enemy destroyers to fire its silent spikes. Tempest rocketed forward with blinding speed, dodging enemy fire and carving through ships like a blade through water. Helios unleashed a wide golden beam, clearing a path as Ravager sliced through enemy fighters that swarmed like hornets. The Titans worked together like a single organism, moving with precision and fury. Every strike shook the battlefield, every impact echoed through the void. But the aliens refused to break. Their warships kept coming, and then something else appeared. An enormous creature-metal hybrid rose from behind one of the dark spires. Its body was shaped like a dragon with steel wings, glowing energy veins, and a mouth big enough to swallow a Titan whole. It roared, and the roar trembled through space like a shockwave. Rylan stared at it with narrowed eyes. "Their throne world guardian," he muttered. The creature charged toward the Titans, flapping its metallic wings, sending out waves of crushing sonic force. Leviathan's shield cracked under the pressure. "I can't hold this forever," Jonas shouted, his voice shaking. "Focus fire on the wings." Goliath raised its arm cannon and fired. The blast struck the beast's left wing, tearing metal and tissue. The creature roared again, spinning violently, sending debris everywhere. Ravager darted beneath the creature's belly and drove its magnetic blades upward. The wound released green energy that sprayed across the battlefield like burning acid. Tempest joined the attack, slamming into the creature's back, its thrusters burning into its armor. Spectre fired targeted shots at its glowing joints. Finally, Helios released a focused beam into the creature's chest. The Guardian shrieked one last time as its entire body cracked and shattered, collapsing into drifting pieces of metal and glowing bone. With the Guardian eliminated, the alien fleet began to break. Ships pulled back toward the planet, but there was no escape. The Titans pushed forward, breaking through the last of the enemy wall and landing on the Throneworld's outer crust. The moment they touched the ground, the surface reacted like a living creature. Dark roots moved under their feet, glowing veins pulsed with light, and massive mechanical towers rose from the soil, preparing to fire. Rylan didn't wait. "Destroy everything between us and the Queen's stronghold," he commanded. The Titans marched across the alien surface, each step shaking the ground. The alien towers fired, but Leviathan blocked the blasts. While Ravager cut the towers apart with savage precision, Tempest moved at lightning speed, destroying enemy defenders before they could aim. Spectre slipped through shadows, taking out hidden artillery units. Helios burned large sections of the battlefield with its golden heat beams. Finally, they reached a massive gate carved into a mountain of metal bones. At the center of the gate was a glowing sigil, pulsing like a heartbeat. Rylan felt something cold inside his chest as he stared at it. This was the entrance to the Queen's chamber, the mind behind the attack on Earth's colonies, the monster who ordered the death of Lena Reyes. Rylan stepped forward. Goliath raised its fist. "This ends now," he said softly. The Titan's punch shattered the gate in a single blow. Light poured out of the opening, and a deep roar echoed from within. The final battle had begun, and humanity's giants were ready to face the heart of darkness itself. The broken gate collapsed behind the Titans as they stepped into the alien Queen's inner chamber. The air was thick with strange green mist that curled around their legs, glowing softly like living fog. The massive hall inside the mountain of bone metal felt endless. Pillars made of twisted machinery stretched upward, and cables pulsed along the ceiling like veins of a giant beast. At the center of this living fortress stood a throne made of shining black stone. And on that throne, the Queen waited. Her body was tall and sharp, draped in armor that looked like ancient bone. For glowing eyes stared at the Titans with cold hatred. Her long arms moved slowly, as if she were calling the entire planet to breathe with her. Her voice echoed inside the hall without her mouth ever moving. "You are brave, small creatures. But bravery does not save dying species." Rylan stepped Goliath forward, his voice steady within the comms. "You attacked our colonies, you killed our families, we are here to end it." The Queen rose calmly from her throne. "Your colonies were warnings," she whispered, her voice echoing like wind inside a cave. "We warned your kind, but humans never listen." Without another word, she extended her arms. The entire chamber shook violently, green lightning burst across the walls, and from beneath the ground, a massive creature began to rise. It was bigger than any Titan, shaped like an armored serpent with claws and jaws forged from metal and bone. It roared, shaking the hall and sending waves of energy through the floor. Mara shouted inside Titan 03, "Is that her guardian or her weapon?" Rylan replied quietly, "Both, but it doesn't matter, we take it down." The monster attacked first, lashing out with metal claws that cracked the ground. The Titan scattered, rolling across the chamber. Leviathan raised its shield to block a hit, but the impact shattered a piece of the shield. Jonas gasped, pain echoing through the neural link. "It's too strong," he said, struggling to keep balance. Tempest darted to the monster's side, firing thrusters to deliver a high-speed strike, but the beast caught Tempest with its tail, hurling it across the chamber like a thrown spear. Spectre uncloaked behind the creature, planting explosive charges on its joints. The blast made the beast stagger, giving Helios a chance to fire a golden beam into its skull. The creature roared, shaking the entire mountain. But the queen only watched calmly, as if the destruction pleased her. She lifted her hand and sent a wave of psychic force that froze all Titans mid-motion for a brief moment. The pilots cried out as their neural systems shook. The queen's voice echoed again, "Humans fight hard, but you are late. Your fate was sealed the moment you left Earth unprotected." Ryland's eyes widened. What did she just say? A wave of fear rushed through the pilots, but Ryland forced himself to breathe. "Ignore her, she wants to break us," he said. "Focus on the monster." Goliath surged forward, powering through the psychic pressure. Ryland's rage broke the queen's influence, and the Titan grabbed the creature's horns, forcing its head to the ground. Ravager leaped onto the creature's back, slicing into its armor. Sparks and green blood sprayed across the hall. Tempest recovered and fired thrusters at full power, slamming into the creature's chest, pushing it against the throne wall. Helios charged its core to maximum, golden light filling its chest. "Ryland, move," the pilot shouted. Ryland pulled Goliath away just as Helios's beam fired. The blast pierced the creature's head, burning through bone and metal. With a final scream, the beast collapsed, shaking the entire chamber under its weight. The queen stepped back, her eyes glowing with fury. "You destroy, but you do not understand," she hissed. "This war was meant to shape the galaxy." Ryland took a slow breath, stepping Goliath closer. "Then let this be our answer." He activated Goliath's last power core, the most dangerous weapon the Titan had. Golden lines of energy spread across Goliath's body, glowing brighter with each passing second. The queen raised her hand to unleash another psychic strike, but Titan 04 Leviathan blocked the attack, its shield burning as it absorbed the force. Jonas shouted, "Do it, Ryland." Spectre and Ravager attacked the queen's flanks, forcing her to defend herself. Tempest used its thrusters to slam into her, pinning her against the throne. The mountain walls cracked from the force. Helios powered up to assist, firing beams that weakened her armor. Ryland clenched his jaw. "This is for New Aurora." He launched Goliath forward, the Titan glowing like a star, and delivered a final punch charged with everything the power core had left. The explosion shook the entire planet. The chamber collapsed, the throne shattered, and the queen's body dissolved into burning light. A shockwave erupted outward, knocking down every alien structure on the planet's surface. The throne world began to crumble, green rivers turning black, the sky breaking apart. The Titans stumbled out of the collapsing fortress, half damaged, sparks flying from their armor. They escaped into the sky as the throne world collapsed into itself like a dying sun. The alien empire fell silent, their commands gone, their fleets turning dead and drifting across space. Humanity had won. The Titans returned to Earth with cheers echoing across every city and colony. Families cried, soldiers saluted, and children watched the giant machines with stars in their eyes. Ryland stepped out of Goliath, exhausted but standing tall. He looked toward the sky, imagining Lena somewhere among the stars, smiling again. "For you," he whispered, his voice soft and steady, "we made sure humanity survives." And the giants of humanity stood tall, ready for whatever future the galaxy dared to bring.